Hey, is anybody there? I don't see anybody online right now. Hey, hi guys. Hello. How are you all? So we're meeting after a good break of 6 days or so. Hi. Just let me know whenever you guys are ready and I will start with the class, okay? Okay, so today we are due for a law class, okay? And I hope you all are doing well. And tomorrow we will have account session. I'm very good. I'm doing well. Thank you. Um, so let's get started. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for appreciating. Statistics, I'm sorry, I cannot give you an idea about it because you'll have to, because I'm seriously not aware of it. But you can ask Meritnation and they will confirm you if you have your class or not. Okay? Chalo, let's get started. Just let me confirm from the window and all. Everything is fine. Yeah. Okay. So this is the, just a second. Yeah. Okay. So this is the mind map for Companies Act 2013. Okay. I have my specs here. I want all of you to focus on the slide now. Okay. I have my specs with me, but they are too heavy. So sometimes I don't wear them. Okay, so coming back to the slide, this is the mind map that we've prepared for you for Companies Act 2013. And you are very well aware of all the related concepts, the concept of corporate veil theory, which is very, very important. Yes, Companies Act is extremely interesting. And I even used to love it when I was a student and then you okay, so I will take you one by one through all these concepts, a little bit about all of them. And once we are done with the mind map, I have a very interesting rapid fire round for you. And once and by the way, I just wanted to remind you that you can download this PPT. Okay, please download it for revision purpose. And apart from downloading the PPT, let me remind you that the mind map, sorry, the questions that we have for you on the rapid fire round are going to be objective type, but your examination paper is not going to be objective type. It is going to be a subjective paper. Okay. uh, I want all of you to focus on the slide. Are you guys listening to me right now? Are you guys listening? No, no idhar udhar ki baatein. Okay. Strictly serious talks and strictly talks related to Companies Act right now. Okay? All right. So let's start with introduction. And introduction has these concepts of separate legal entity. You have that, you know already that companies have a separate identity to themselves, separate from the owners, right? Then there is a perpetual succession. That means that company will not come to an end due to the death of the owner, okay, or the owners. Then limited liability. Then you have artificial judicial person. Again, artificial judicial person and separate legal entity are very similar to each other. Both of them state that the companies have the right to own property. They can have their own assets. They are a separate legal person. So this is it about the introduction part. All right. Now let me talk about the incorporation of the companies. There, what is the effect of registration? What exactly happens when you get your company registered? What is MOA? What is the doctrine of ultravirus? Then what is articles of association? Then doctrine of indoor management. All of this you should be knowing by heart. These are very important concepts, and these are supposed to be known by you because they are the basics of these are very basic things a law student or a CA student should be knowing. So I would suggest you, not just because it is a part of your course, but you should do it because this is very practical stuff. This is something that is related to your daily life. You see these things operating in the real world, so it is always good to know about these things. Okay, not just because you're a student of these things, you should know it otherwise also. Okay. Yeah, lifting of corporate veil, that is, I have written here about it. So this mind map was also prepared by me. So corporate veil theory, what is it? What does it exactly mean? And when is the corporate veil lifted? All the important cases that are covered. So when does, so lifting of corporate veil is, I will tell you in a brief one or two sentence. What How does government actually lift the corporate veil? So how does the government raise this distinction between ownership and the management? So where the government doubts the intent of the company or the board of directors or the people who are running the company, when they doubt that there's something fishy about it, or there is something that is happening for the benefit of the owners which is not very good in the public health or in the favor of the public, not in the favor of the public. So that is when the corporate veil is lifted and the owners and the company become one single thing. The company is the people who are running it, and the management becomes very much responsible for all the acts of the company. So management gets punished if something wrong is found out. So that is what lifting of corporate veil in a way means. Okay, I hope the concept was. The class is for 30 minutes and it will get over at 6 o'clock. Okay. All right. So then you have the various classes of companies which are covered under the Act. What is the incorporated, or what is exactly the meaning of unincorporated? So when you incorporate a company, there it can be done on the various. It can be done on the basis of various things like liability, on the basis of members, on the basis of control, then on the basis of access to capital, and then there are other companies also. Okay, then what is the different meanings of the various types of capital in a company? The nominal capital, issued capital, subscribed capital, called up and paid up capital. And you know that mostly all of them are little parts of each other. So paid up capital, called up capital is the last distinction when you talk about capital. Nominal capital is the capital which is the authorized capital of the company with which the company starts. So company is allowed to raise that much amount of capital in the entire lifetime. Okay, then what is exactly the meaning of issued capital? How much does the company issue in the shape of shares? Then how many of them are subscribed? Okay, that becomes the subscribed capital. Then out of the subscribed capital, how much amount of the capital has been called up by the management or the people running the company from the shareholders? That becomes your called up capital. And when you call up something on the shares, and whatever is paid, and there are some defaulters also. So paid up capital is the amount of the capital which has been paid on the called up capital. Okay, and this was just a little revision. I know you already know about these points, and you are aware of these concepts. So let's start with the rapid fire round because we have a lot of questions today. Okay, and there are going to be 4 or 5 objective type of questions, and then we have few subjective questions also. Let me remind you, in your paper you're not going to get objective type of questions, so entire paper is going to be subjective in nature. Okay, all right, so let's start with the rapid fire. Okay, question number 1. The content of memorandum of association does not have board of directors clause, object clause, liability clause, name clause. Give me the right answer here. I am still waiting for the right answer. Who will give me the right answer, the first right answer? A, yes, Kotla. I got the first right answer as the board of directors clause, which is very much correct because object clause, liability clause, and name clause are definitely three out of the seven clauses which are content of memorandum of association. Do you remember the seven clauses of memorandum of association? You should know them by heart. These are your name clause, object clause, your liability clause, then you have your registered office clause, capital clause, and association clause. I hope I've not missed out on any. Okay, then let's move to the next one. A private company. Sorry, I forgot to mark the first one. Let me mark the right answer for you. This is the right answer. And please read the question properly. Okay, it says does not have, so you've got to be careful about the word not. Okay. Okay, question number 2. A private company as provided under the Companies Act 2013 can have maximum A 200, B 100, C 150, or D no limit. How many members can a private company have on the maximum? 200. That's right. 200 is the right answer. Okay, this was a very easy one and most of you got it right. But I see a few of you giving wrong answer also. It is not 150 and neither it is 100. It is supposed to be 200. Okay, I'll take you to the next page. Okay, question number 3. P private company is a subsidiary of Q company, which is a public company. The P shall be treated as public company, sister concern, family company, or a private company. A lot of you are saying B, that is sister concern. No, okay. A, Vaishnavi is saying A, which is absolutely correct answer. A subsidiary company to a public company is always considered as a public company. It is treated as a public company. Okay? So right answer is A, that is public company. Let's go to the next question. The shares of which of the following companies are freely transferable? Now, this one is a very, very easy one, and I'm sure everybody will be able to get it easily. Freely transferable shares, they come from which company? Private, public, both private and public, or none of the above? Yes, everybody is giving me the right answer here. Public companies, under the case of public companies, the shares are freely transferable. Okay. But in case of private companies, there's a restriction on the transferability of shares. Okay. So can we move on to the next one? I will mark the correct one for you. Okay. Yeah. Question number 5. Under Companies Act 2013, who has the power to revoke the license of a company? Now, I am waiting for the right answer here. Okay, I hope a lot of you get this one. A, central government. B, state government. C, the registrar of companies. Or D, none of the above. I knew I'm going to get a lot of wrong answers here. No, it is not the registrar of companies. It is the central government. Central government is the right answer. Central government has the right to revoke the license of a company. Correct yourself right now. Don't make this mistake in exam. Okay? A is the right answer in this case. Okay? I hope you will remember this now by heart because I saw a lot of you gave me the wrong answer in this one. Okay? Let's move on to the next one. OPC company can be formed as A, private company, B, public company, C, both A and B, or D, none of the above? Who will give me the right answer here? Hmm. I think Vaishnavi, Trishna, Tushar, I see a lot of you giving me the right answer here. Dipali, yes, the right answer is private company. One person company can only be established as a private company. It can never be established as a public company, which is really genuine and which is really easily understandable. Okay, because public company is a company which has a lot of freedom, and OPC cannot be given that kind of freedom which a public company has. A private company generally operates under some restrictions which are imposed on it by the government and by the laws of the state. So it is supposed to be a private company because we need to regulate the working of such a company which is operated wholly and solely by one single person. Okay? Are we clear on this one? Can we move on? I will tick mark the right answer for you. Yeah. Okay, so question number 8. Now we have a subjective type of question, and now we don't have the options like A, B, C. Okay, so now let's see how many of you can manage to give me right answers here. Can a non-profit organization be registered as a company under the Companies Act 2013? Yeah, I'm getting section 8. Absolutely correct. A non-profit organization can be registered as a company. The answer is yes. Okay. And there is specially a section 8 which governs this law. Okay. Which governs this entire thing about non-profit organizations. Okay, and a Section 8 company cannot distribute dividend. I hope you remember this. There is a restriction on the distribution of dividend. And apart from that, these are established for the upliftment of social welfare, for arts, science, and various other social causes. Okay, for certain, for the upliftment of some community, something like that. So a non-profit organization can be registered as a company under the Companies Act of 2013. Okay? Yeah, so taking you to the next question now. Define inactive company. Question number 2, define inactive company. I hope you remember this one. You remember the inactive companies? Give me one or two correct points for this particular question. Okay. Give me the right answers here. Yes, it's a dormant company, also called a dormant company. Yes, Dipali is absolutely right here. When a company does not file its annual returns, it does not have a significant business transaction, or it does not file its financial statements for the last 2 financial years. You have to mention the word financial, okay? Financial years, 2 financial years. That is when it is called an inactive company, okay? Which is not operational from the past 2 financial years. It's called a dormant company, or you may also call it an inactive company, a sleeping company. Okay, so will we remember this? Do we have we recalled what it was? Yes, does not have a significant business transaction, does not, it's not operational, does not file its annual returns, and does not file its financial statements. All of these points are for inactive company. Okay? Yes. Very good. You guys are doing really well. I'm happy. Let's move on to the next one. Define a Nidhi company. Guys, this is important, okay? Take Nidhi company seriously. Although in the real life, we hardly hear about them. but they are important from the perspective of your exams. So you can expect something from Nidhi company, or anything that we're discussing today is important. Okay, we will never make questions on something that is not important. So you've got to remember all of this that we are covering today. Okay, so who can define a Nidhi company for me? I'm still waiting for the right answers. I guess you guys are typing your answers. Yes. Yes, absolutely correct. A habit of thrift. Okay. So a Nidhi company is one which is incorporated as a Nidhi. Okay. And it has the objective of actually cultivating the habit of thrift, or you may call it cost cutting or saving in the public. Okay. Then it receives deposits from its members and it lends money to its members. Okay. Then it is obviously established for a mutual benefit. Okay, and the central government has prescribed rules for the working of this kind of companies. Okay. Ah, so can we move on? Yes, it is mainly established with the idea of creating a pool of money for the members, and as and when a member requires money, they can take loan from that pool of funds that they've created together. So it is mainly established with an intent to promote the idea of saving money amongst people, okay, amongst its members. All right. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. What are the types of companies on the basis of access to capital? Who can give me the two categories here? Types of companies on the basis of access to capital? Yes. Two, divisions of these kind of companies? No, no. That's not the right answer. The two types of companies on the basis of access to capital are your listed companies and your unlisted companies. Do you remember this? The listed companies and the unlisted companies? That is the right bifurcation to give here. Listed companies, as per Section 2 of the Companies Act 2013, is the one which has its securities listed on any of the recognized stock exchanges of the country. Okay, and the word securities has the same meaning as it has under the Securities Contracts Regulations Act of 1956. Okay, will you remember all this? Should I repeat myself for you? Okay, I'm taking you to the next question. Okay, write the similarities and dissimilarities between a guarantee company and a company having share capital. Now, this one is a tricky one. I will see how many of you can get this one. Similarities and dissimilarities between a guarantee company and a company having share capital. Let me see. Uh, Okay, so let's first discuss the dissimilarity or the difference between the guarantee company and a company limited by share capital. If the difference will be mainly a guarantee company, the members may be called upon to discharge their liability only after the winding up has commenced. Okay, and which is obviously related to some conditions and all. So there are certain conditions which need to apply. But in the other case, that is a company having share capital. My voice is not clear. I hope it is clear now. Okay, so in case of a company having share capital, um, the members of the company can be called upon at any time for the unpaid amount of their shares. Okay, so it need not be under winding up for the shares to be called upon. So this is the major difference between the two types of companies. Okay. But when we talk about the similarity, they both have separate legal entities. Okay, they have limited liability. So these are similarity between the two type of companies. And a member's liability is always limited by the amount which is remaining unpaid on the number of shares held by him or her. Okay. And both of these type of companies, they are required to mention in their memorandum all the amount of members liability that is limited. Okay, so mainly you will remember the dissimilarity. The dissimilarity is only about the winding up. Okay, that is the major reason why the two companies are different from each other. In case of share capital company, it can be called upon anytime. But in case of company limited by guarantee, or you may call it the guarantee company, only in case of winding up, the members can be called upon for the remaining amount of the unpaid amount of the money on their shares. Okay, this is it. I am done with all the slides of the class today, and I see the time is also finishing up. Yeah. Okay, so we are done with the entire thing, and we see 2-3 minutes are still left on us. Let's see. So this is the mind map. We're back to the mind map. What was the answer related to OPC? Um, okay, are you talking about the private or the public company type? So OPC company can only be registered as a private company. So that is what we were discussing. Okay. Then you can download the mind map. Okay, and the questions for the topic. And remember that your paper is never going to be objective in nature. It will be subjective type of questions. And I will just say one thing to you: you should quote sections in law paper. It's always a good habit to do it that way. You should quote sections, but be sure of the sections you're quoting. Please don't quote a wrong section. Okay. um, Tomorrow I will, yes, I think, yes, we will have BCR next time. We are done with the first section of law. Okay. How much amount of study is sufficient for a CA foundation student? According to me, if you are studying 6 hours in a day, which is productive 6 hours, not when you have your phone and all with you, I think that kind of proper studies is enough. But when I say 6 hours, your 6 hours have to be really into the books and really about the concepts and your subjects. You should not be distracted in those hours. But when you're not very concentrated on your books, then in that case, even 10 hours are going to fall short. So be careful of the quality of the study more than the quantity. The quality really matters, because remember, it's a competition that you're going to be facing. Okay, all the best everybody, and I will see you next time. Law, get the best books that are available. And I studied my book like 16 times before the exam, so you've got to really revise and as many revisions as possible. Okay, all right. So all the best, guys, and I will see you tomorrow same time. Okay, bye bye, take care everyone.